Okay, Herc, let's move on. Speaking of players who were not called in the last window, a couple interesting scenarios here. Dike and Matthew Hoppe in hot water over content they liked on social media, both caught engaging in what we will call less than pro-Berhalter posts. Hercules, is this something, nothing, or everything? Is it a view into the soul of how American players feel about their coach?
There you go, Seb. There you go. When you said Hercules, I knew it was over. Trying to make a mountain out of a molehill here. Look, this is nothing. Hold on. Let me explain.
The player excusing the players. Look at this.
No, it's not an excuse because let's assume for a second, because we don't know, but let's assume for a second we give him the benefit of the doubt. And Dike thought it was amusing that Stephen A. had a soccer take. There goes your like. Let's assume that for a second. Let's also assume for a second that Matthew Hoppe was like, oh, a soccer billboard in a UNC versus Duke game. Wow, that's pretty funny. Let's assume that for a second. Let's also assume for a second it was a Jesse Marsch type of mistake. I pressed the wrong button. I don't know what I'm doing because Jesse's pulled that one before. Okay? Let's assume
those are different generations. Hold on. Jesse Marsch, who just got on Twitter, making a mistake is acceptable. Matthew Hoppe and Dike, they grew up with Twitter.
Let me finish, okay? Let's assume that. I don't buy it for 1 second, but let's assume that. Now, the reality of the situation is every single team in the world has players who are upset with the coach. Every single team. I've been on those teams.
These two weren't called in. These two weren't called in.
The majority of the time that those players, said players, are upset with the coach, it's the players who don't play, who aren't called in. They have a gripe with said coach. Now, it's not Greg Berhalter's fault that Matthew Hoppe isn't playing for Mallorca, that they're struggling, that he can't get on the field. It's not Greg Berhalter's fault that Dike, when he had opportunity with Greg Berhalter at the Gold Cup, didn't do well, didn't take advantage of it.
So why are the players lashing out on social media?
It's also not his fault, okay, that he had a bum shoulder and that could have affected him. You know whose fault it is for these likes? These players. This tells me more about Matthew Hoppe and more about Dike and their emotional intelligence for these likes than it does anything revolving Greg Berhalter. I know everybody loves these days to get on Greg Berhalter. Greg Berhalter this, Greg Berhalter that, terrible coach this, terrible coach that.
Que inocente, eh?
No. And I'm one of them. But I'm not biased. I don't just hate to hate. And there's no hate. There's analysis behind it. This, to me, tells me more about the players than the actual situation revolving Greg Berhalter.
Look, the internet sleuths were out heavy duty over the weekend to dig these two up. I think no. I'll go back into the WhatsApp group and we'll find out who really dropped it in the text chain there, okay? Look, it's a bad mistake from both of these guys, Herc, right? You just can't do this because you know everybody's going to find it, everybody's going to see it, and shows like us and people on the internet are going to talk about it. And I don't think it's such an innocent mistake, huh? I could buy an innocent mistake from Jesse Marsch, although I don't know if that was innocent. But this one's really, really tough, especially her given the context, right?
Okay.
They're players who right now are on the outs. One thing is the internet we get so much information on this team from the internet. Remember after the game in Minnesota, how many guys kind of went on their Instagram and
complained about the weather,
and complained, and said, I don't want to do this again. I wasn't a big fan of this. I hope this is the last time we have to go through this. So if you love the U.S. men's national team and you want to know how they feel, you know where to go.
All right, nothing or everything then, Seb.
Just follow the guys on social media. Oh, it's something. It's something for sure. It's something between these players. And we know Matthew Hoppe and Greg Berhalter have that, let's say, interesting relationship, right? Interesting relationship.
Also not Berhalter's fault.
Dynamic.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.